6 years ago, I was at zero. I had no expertise, no income, and no audience. I really admired bloggers like Tim Ferriss, Seth Godin, Pat Flynn, who had been able to turn a successful blog into a living, but I had no idea how to get there. So I started a blog and decided to figure it out along the way. In this video, you're going to learn 6 reasons why you should start one too. Because today, that blog has been read by over 15 million people. It's created dozens of jobs for others, it's spun out a number of companies, and it generates a significant amount of passive income, netting me over 70 grand just last month. Now there's a lot to cover in how I went from zero to where it is today. So this is the first video in a series. And in this series, we're gonna cover why you start a blog, that's today. We'll cover setting up and launching the blog, what to write about, how to get in the writing habit, promoting your content, monetizing your content. These are all coming later in the series, but it all starts with why. Why should you start a life-changing blog? Here are the 6 reasons. Reason number 1 is you'll actually make better decisions. Taking your thoughts and having to put them into a finished written product will force you to clarify your thinking on anything that's interesting to you. James Clear has been writing about habit formation and self-improvement since 2012. He wanted to deeply understand how you could improve yourself primarily through creating better habits. Eventually, his blog was attracting hundreds of thousands of readers a month, which led to him publishing his book, Atomic Habits, which hit the #1 New York Times bestseller list and has sold over 1 million copies. Blogging is a huge leverage point for deepening your understanding of any topic you're interested in. I have a really popular article on why a 4-hour workweek didn't make me happy, and one of the big benefits to writing that was not just to share that story, but it really helped me understand what I could do in the future to find more fulfilling work, so it really helped improve my decision making. Reason number 2 to start a blog is you'll actually be more attractive to work with. One of the first things I look at before hiring or working with someone is what's on their personal site, because that's how they prove what they know. I created my site originally just as a resume. I wanted to work in content marketing, so I created a few articles to show I knew what I was doing. Those articles got me a freelance writing gig with Zapier, which then turned into an internship with them, and then eventually my first full-time marketing role. I probably wouldn't have gotten that first freelance writing gig if I didn't have my site, so it can be a lot more powerful than just a normal resume. But it's also how you show what you value and what you're thinking about. The topics you choose to cover, how you choose to write, who you choose to emulate say a lot about you as a person. Everything you publish is a signal to future colleagues in the world about who you are and what you believe. That's much more powerful than a normal paper resume. Quick plug, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to subscribe to get the rest of the videos in this series. There's a lot that goes into starting a blog, and I don't want you to miss any of them. So again, hit the subscribe button and like if you're enjoying this, and let's move on to reason number 3. Reason number 3 is you'll build an audience over time just by writing. Because even if you're not trying to build an audience, even if you don't want your blog to turn into a career, just by putting out into the world things you're interested in and care about, you're naturally going to start to attract people who are interested in those things and you. Kevin Kelly has this famous article on 1,000 true fans, and in it he argues that if you can find 1,000 true fans who really appreciate you and the work you do, you can have a very comfortable life as an artist or creative. Having seen what opportunities come from having even a modest following, I couldn't agree with him more, and starting a blog is a phenomenal way to start finding your 1,000 true fans. Having people who trust you and your work is going to make everything you do in the future so much easier, because you'll already have this group of people who want to see what you put out next, who want to test the new thing you're building, who are really excited about and can help you kickstart anything else you work on in the future. Reason number 4 to start a blog that could change your life is you might make a lot of money. If you work hard on your site, it'll make you money eventually, and you might be surprised by just how much money it could make you. For the first couple of years, my site hardly made any money. But then around 2016, I launched my first product affiliated with it, and suddenly it was making $2, $3, $4, maybe more $1,000 a month. Then this year, things really shifted, where by the end of the year, it's probably gonna net somewhere north of $500,000. That's a lot of money to come from something that just started off as a resume 6 years ago. And eventually, you might make so much money from your blog that you could just quit whatever else you're doing that you might not enjoy as much. For example, Pat Flynn started his site Smart Passive Income as a way to share projects he was working on to try to build more passive income, like starting a food truck or creating affiliate sites. Eventually, that main site, Smart Passive Income, got so popular that he was able to forego those other projects and just focus on that, and now he's making millions of dollars a year helping other people build up their own audience and build their own products. Reason number 5, and this surprises some people, but you can make great friends doing it by putting out in the world what you think, believe, and value, you'll naturally start to attract other like-minded people who are on a similar path to you. For example, I'm going on an elk hunt in Colorado next month with 5 guys, most of whom I met in some way through my work on my site. When I started it 6 years ago, did I imagine that one day I would go hunting in the Colorado wilderness with some guys who I'd met through working on the site? Of course not, that's crazy, but here we are, and it's awesome. By putting my thoughts and beliefs out there, I was able to show up in the orbit of other like-minded people. We were able to start building a relationship, and now some of my closest friends are people who I met through working on my site. Connecting with people because you share interests and values is so much more powerful than just connecting because you share location or a job. So you might not expect it, but starting a blog could find you some of your best friends. Reason number 6 is there's always room for great content. You might be thinking, oh, there's so many blogs out there, there's so many writers, why would anybody be interested in what I have to say? That was my concern at first too. And this is a problem if you just try to copy what's already out there, if you just try to copy and paste what's working for someone else. Because if you do that, you won't stand out. You're more of the same. But one of my friends who has been able to stand out is Julian Shapiro. He writes extremely in-depth guides on topics that he's very curious about, even if he's not an expert on them yet. One of those guides was on growing a startup, which got so much great response and so much respect in the industry that he was able to start a whole growth agency to help other companies implement the techniques he was talking about in the guide. Now that company employs tons of people and even has a whole coaching and training program to help people learn the techniques that he just wrote about originally in an article. He could have said, there's plenty of content out there on marketing and growth, why bother? But he didn't. He wrote something based on what he was interested in learning, and it completely changed his life. And the reason there's always room for great content is that no one can compete with you on being you. If you can write great articles on topics that you care about and you bring a unique perspective to, there's always going to be room for you to share that knowledge. Now, we're going to cover what exactly to write about in a future video, but rest assured, there is always room for great content if you really care about the problems you're solving. Those were the 6 reasons. Starting a blog can completely change your life, but you have to start. And like I said, this is a series, so if you want to make sure you get all the future videos, definitely hit subscribe because they're going to be coming out at least every week or 2. In the next video, we'll cover how to set up your blog to maximize your chances of success and some of the big mistakes to avoid that a lot of other new bloggers make. And if you liked this video, be sure to check out another one of my recent videos on how I started that info product using my site that has made over $400,000 this year. I'll see you in the next video.